Pod in the City is a Sex in the City podcast and thus contains adult themes and explicit content. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to Pod in the City. I'm Amanda.
And I'm John.
We're two besties who bonded over Sex in the City in college.
And now, 20 years later, we're reliving it like it's our very first time. We're back, baby. Season 3, episode 1, Where There's Smoke. When Carrie and her girls head to Staten Island to watch and judge the New York City Fire Department's calendar contest, Carrie reluctantly meets a handsome politician while Samantha fulfills her fireman fantasy. Elsewhere, Charlotte believes she's found her knight in shining armor, and Miranda realizes that being rescued isn't always a sign of weakness.
This is good,
We
John.
don't even have to recap it, baby. It's all right there. Actually, this felt, again, we probably say it every time we go back. This is a warm hug.
I actually watched, since I had nothing to do last week, I was so excited. I have 2 whole weeks off, and then by day 2, I was like...
So you rewatched the 24-hour Doughboys thing
I'm still working my way through, Joan.
Oh.
No, it's 24 hours, 25 hours, Joan.
Okay, so
I'm working my way
watched
through.
it 4 times.
Days. I have to watch all of it. I can't just, fuck around. I gotta...
I figured you just put it on and then just left it going.
No. I have to watch them play the video game for an hour and a half because I need to see what's going on in the video game.
Okay.
Anyway, how was your Christmas?
It was actually really good. I've been focusing on Love and Light, so that helps.
Well, that's good. Look who's here.
We don't know who that is.
Here too, but there's also Whiskey. Look who's here. She's staying for the weekend.
People aren't going to know who that is. That was Amanda's original foster dog that she had.
Who that is. Or they just think that I have whiskey sitting here. I'm drinking again.
Girl.
Guess what I decided to do for the new year.
Some people could be clocking in because they're just starting Sex in the City season 3. Do want to warn you, as one of our recent reviews, 4-star reviews, unfortunately, clocked us saying we do spoil everything. So if this is your first time watching and you don't want to know anything that's going to happen, still try and stick with us because
we're going at this as if all of us collectively are freaks and psychos about the show, and we're all completely caught up. I recently rewatched Sex in the City 2. I rewatched all of this season.
I like Sex in the City 2. Okay, how'd you feel?
We haven't talked in forever, I feel like. So we haven't even talked since I watched Sex in the City 2 because we pre-recorded last week. That's right. It was it's that whole Stockholm syndrome thing, or just, accepting something because what we have now is so wretched that Sex and the City 2 at least is it's still kind of, the gay wedding part is really
I think that Stanford and Anthony never should have gotten married.
And Liza showing up was
I loved that.
Gratuitous.
Loved it.
You loved it. She's pretty with it though. She's dancing. She's doing the actual single ladies dance in there. I'm through it.
She's doing the Liza version, baby. I like Sex in the City movie too. Not gonna really say it's like this episode. If you watch this episode only and then watch Sex in the City movie 2, and that was all you'd ever seen of this, I would be very confused. I'd be like, how did we get from this to that?
Joan, this whole season 3 is so good. I just kind of had it on in the background last week, so it was just kind of always on. And it was every time a new episode was starting, I'd look up what was coming up. This is another classic episode. We have the affair in this season. All of that, big getting married, all the Natasha stuff. I forget the other stuff. A lot of shit. The whole Steve storyline happens here.
Well, I kept thinking
TREY.
Oh, I kept thinking that she was gonna pee on this guy, but that must not be till.
He's got a 2-episode arc.
Yeah, that must be next
Slattery.
episode. That's the next episode, and my cat came running the second I said peeing. All right. Oh geez, now she's. Oh God. Hello. Hi guys. Okay. Wow. We're Pod in the City. If you're just tuning in, if you're watching us on YouTube, okay, could you hit subscribe and could you hit like, even if you hate us,
and leave a comment.
2025, which this will be in, is the year of love. And if we don't support each other
and sex,
we're effed up, man. We need to be supporting each other. All right. We're humans. We're people. We're not just robots and cogs in the machine. We're not AI. This is not AI. Guys,
we're going to stay positive in the new year. No more Jones moans in the new year.
Oh, no. There will be Jones moans, but they will be calls to action. Okay. There'll be a point. Like the one I'm going to give right now. Enough AI. Enough with it. Stop.
She was going on about the bird flu right
videos. Oh, yeah. Guys, I am concerned about the bird flu.
He's scared he might kill his cat.
That's what I'm hearing, is that if you can track it in from the outside, and there are tons of feral cats in my neighborhood. There's tons of birds. They can all
should I not let George walk around outside?
I mean, I'd look up the information about Canada and bird flu right now. Maybe you guys don't have it.
I haven't heard anyone.
I'd be scared. I would never let Butch outside.
Oh, well.
I've let her out when I'm out there. But she only goes like 3 feet out the door. And then if I even move 1 inch, she runs back inside.
Aww.
I'm like, what a good girl.
That is a good girl.
I am going to actually tell her. Oh, no, I won't. I have anyway, guys. Anyway,
check out our Patreon, speaking of which, because that's what we have so much stuff to tell each other. We're going to talk about the show that I went to last week. We're going to break
pantomime.
It down. Well, we'll discuss it, but
it's exactly what I thought it was going to be.
Because we talked about, you looked it up on the last.
Oh yeah,
and then so now I'll be able to follow up. Oh my God, I cannot wait I kind of already told the story, but anyway. So check out Patreon.
So Patreon is also a great way to start off your year. First of all, we have basically a year's worth of content already in the backlog there, babe. You can go back to January 2024 and listen to it. That means there's 50 episodes. You can pay $6 a month and you can have at least, you can have 2 whole freaking days of listening to us if you liked us. Amanda did recently describe our podcast on her live as louder or loud, which, you know what, makes sense because
louder.
When I do watch your guys' podcast, you guys are quiet. And then I'm like, yeah, I come in a little strong. So I understand why
but don't. If I raise my voice, they will let me know about it in the comments.
But see, I think you match my vocal energy in this, so and you match Judy's.
Hey, I like that. Anyway, let's move on to the episode because, Joan, we're supposed to be starting the episodes within 5 minutes. That's what what's his name? Dr. Beat?
We did actually start the episode because we had an entire Sex in the City conversation at the beginning.
Okay.
And I do want to say, over on our Patreon this week, we're doing Golden Girls. Next week, we're doing Smash. And I'm actually pretty excited about that.
I already watched it.
Oh, great.
Can I actually, well, I'll tell, okay, so I watched it with Rob, and first of all, because I always kind of try things like,
got this,
will this be a new binge? This will not be a binge. She was definitely not into it, which is fine. But after Catherine McPhee sings the entirety of Beautiful by Christina Aguilera for a Broadway audition.
I forgot about that.
Wearing jeans, I think. Entire song, by the way, not 16 bars.
That is going to be a struggle for me because even through the entirety of Smash, and I've watched all of it, I never once believed that Catherine McPhee would be the choice for Marilyn Monroe. Oh my God, she is Marilyn.
Okay, so after she sings that, Rob goes, now that was really good. And I was like,
compared to... Okay,
I was trying to stay positive. I'm not
compared to what?
I go, yeah, but like for Marilyn, he's like, well, she can dye her hair. She has like a really good voice. And then at that point, I was like, we won't be continuing these things together because there is no way that I will come off as likable in any way. Cause like I couldn't just let him enjoy it for what it is.
Oh,
and be like,
no.
wow, two girls with great voices. It would be me being like, do you understand what type even means? Are we just gonna throw it out the window?
I just don't know how you would have Megan Hill. I don't know how you'd have Megan Hilty, who like
I don't know. I ended the conversation, but anyway, we haven't.
Okay,
now.
Okay, yes, guys, we're very worked up. It's the beginning of 2025. You know that like feeling we're actually in that week between Christmas and New Year's where it's like, what day is it? What's going on? So today, though, we're doing the first episode of season 3, which I'm very excited. You know, if you've been kind of following us as we've been going. We've been doing And Just Like That season 2, getting ourselves lubed up and ready for season 3. And I gotta say, these episodes just are so much, they clip. They're much more palatable.
Everyone is so noticeably funny. Like Cynthia, everyone was hilarious in this episode. Cynthia Nixon was silly and goofy in this episode. Did you like notice that?
I just think that they seemed goofy. More real.
The writing is just so many exchanges here. Exactly. And again, they clip along. It's an actual conversation back and forth really quickly. They don't let anything sit. Everything is funny. Oh, and by the way, the journey that we're about to go on in this season with Carrie's hair, this is just my favorite hair of hers. Every single hair she has in this, it's nice full curls, but they're kind of brushed out. Like she's kind of brushed them out, and it's like super two-toned hair. And I know that in the series finale, and I remember this because Michael Patrick King's commentary, when Smith Jarrett is calling Samantha, like when she's like, you should come home, and then he's like, she says, I love you. When he's calling her and he's like wearing this gladiator costume. Do you remember this? He's like wearing a gladiator costume and he's calling home to Samantha.
Okay.
He's wearing like this hair. And then Michael Patrick King goes, oh, that's one of Sarah Jessica's like hair pieces from like an early season. And it's definitely this because it's like that two-tone kind of early 2000s glam that I wish would kind of come back.
Anyway. I agree. I think anyway, I'm going to get going because now it is 12 minutes.
Okay.
New York City, home to 1 million exciting, eligible single men and 4 cold and slightly cranky single women. So the ladies are on the ferry. Amanda, you ever take the ferry over to Staten Island?
I never have. Of you. It sounds horrible.
I'm not into that really. Like the only times I've taken boats like that are in Europe. But
I feel like whenever I watch this, and I understand this is several people's actual daily life, but like I just can't even fathom that being my daily commute. You have to get on a boat every day?
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. Well, they're fine with it, I guess.
This is one night though. Some people literally do this like every day. And in Mad Men, he's taking the train from Austining every day, back and forth. That's like a 2-hour trip.
There's people that take like rides in from Connecticut and stuff.
Which is like, I guess 2 hours, maybe. I guess men, like the men that you see in like Mad Men, I guess they just like that, the quiet journey.
And then they'd just be drunk by the end of the day and take the train home. You know what? Honestly,
they're drunk on the train.
Honestly, yeah. Well, this is good. We're actually crossing water to meet men. Reminder, I am not going to Staten Island to meet men. I am going to judge them. One of the perks of being... Okay, so then Carrie calls herself a minor New York celebrity.
What just happened in the last season? Like, what was the last thing that happened?
I don't remember.
Was it
we watched it too long ago.
Was it Hubble? Your new girl is lovely.
Oh yeah,
Hubble?
X and the City. They broke up. Her and she decided Big and her were never gonna. Whatever. They kind of act like that
It seems like they're fine. Okay, but anyway, yes. So she is not trying to date again. She's just going to have fun. But she is judging a fireman stripping contest.
She calls herself a minor New York celebrity. And they end up going, and they have this whole thing where they're like, this is kind of an iconic little part where they're like, Charlotte's like, look how small it looks. And they're like, who would have thought an island that tiny would be big enough to hold all our old boyfriends? I feel like that's a clip that is like goes around a lot, no? Okay, then they're at the bar doing the firefighting thing. Samantha's like going up to the stage because of course she is. She's hungry for it, I guess. And then we find that Bill Kelly is running for George Washington's job from And Just Like That. George Washington was running for city comptroller. So is Bill Kelly.
It must just be because it's like the kind of thing that like wouldn't, it's not a big enough like thing to like that they'd be like famous, or that it would take too much time away from our lead characters or something. I don't know why. Because I've also seen in other shows where the person will be comptroller
instead of like mayor or something. I don't know.
Maybe it's just because no one really knows what it is. So you
can kind of maybe because it also just like it sounds good. Like you're the comptroller. Anyway, my question really is like, what is a person who's running, a man who's running for comptroller doing on the judging panel of a like a firefighter's calendar competition?
It's not gay. Not openly gay, or not running like on a gay agenda, just like, sure.
I tried to be like, okay, well, you know, I understand it's probably for charity, it's supporting the firefighters and stuff, but like feels like there's probably like, how is that helping your political career? I mean, that feels like something I would do if I was running.
He says that later. He really needs to turn Staten Island. He needs to get those numbers in the island.
So like the women of Staten Island are gonna bring it home for Bill Kelly. So then they end up drinking Staten Island iced teas. And Charlotte wants to move to the back. And she's like, but Miranda, you have Steve. And Miranda's like, I don't have Steve. Then we're introduced. Here's the intro for Samantha's fuck buddy fireman this episode. Ladies, and I could not understand this. There's like this very Staten Island seeming woman. I mean, no offense if someone's from Staten Island, but she's like standing there, like holding a mic, and she has like a big, like a hat on. You know what I'm talking about? Anyway, she's like, ladies, this is Ricky Fantucci. He's a Capricorn. His uncles are firefighters. Yes, ladies, that's a cheetah on his arm. Ricky represents Engine 53 in Lower Manhattan. And then Samantha's like, I'd like to show him my Lower Manhattan.
There's another line right before that if this line appeared in And Just Like That, both of our heads would explode because it's such a good line. And again, it's probably not even that good, but it's just it was such a zinger back and forth that I was like, Jesus, why can't it's the same writers on And Just Like That? It's Miranda's like, no, me and Steve are just friends. And Samantha goes, no, we're just friends. I don't put my dick in you. And Miranda, who's drinking the strong iced tea, goes, another one of these and I might let you. I was like,
the problem is they don't have a Samantha.
Yeah, that might actually be.
Who would say they're going to put their dick in you?
She had a couple kind of rough lines in here that I again thought in my head, like if anyone else had to say that line, it would have been like a big fucking turd. But she somehow pulls them off.
They would have had Che do it. Can you read that line as Che?
What?
Can you read that as Che? That line.
What? Another one of these, and I might. No, we're just friends. I don't put my dick in you.
Oh my God.
Because you know the whole shtick is screaming at the audience, even though they're all on their side.
Well, look at his arms. They're huge. You know what they say? Big arms. Big arms.
That was Miranda. That was a Miranda line. She's being really silly in this. And when she's dancing, she's being really silly. And then later when she's eating bacon, she's being very goofy as well. Everyone's in a good mood filming this, I feel.
Now, maybe it does have to do with their age. I guess I could take that into consideration. Like, they're supposed to be like younger, and like we can't. I guess
well, they
I can't
are younger.
this and Angela's like that. All right. Okay.
Well, I guess that's true. Except Miranda, I would almost argue, is goofier in a bad way. And then just I
think
like
Miranda seems like on the cusp of senility, except like, that now she's working for the BBC. So I'm not sure how those two things align. Anyway, like, guys, we're on Sex in the City. I recommend listening to our And Just Like That's, even if you don't want to listen to even if you don't want to watch And Just Like That, guys. I was a hater. I did not want to watch it. Just listen to our things because we bash it. That's all.
Because we will point out the good moments. There's a few.
There's a few.
We'll go off on
some of the fashion, like actually in the last like 2 to 3 episodes of the second season, they kind of figured things out.
Yeah, and then they wrote off the characters we just started caring about finally.
After the contest, I began to realize that Staten Island was like a quaint European country. The American music was 20 years behind, and you could smoke wherever you wanted. I mean, like, yeah, I'm definitely falling into that pattern of feeling like Carrie sounds like a douchebag.
I'm starting to notice it too, but it also just might be like the thing where I'm so easily swayed. If somebody tells me not to like someone, I just won't. So now I feel because I've heard all of these lines by Carrie 1 million times, and just now I'm like, you're a real big douchebag. She's a douchebag in this episode too. When she calls Miranda at 2 a.m, and then she's like, bye. Miranda's
when she can't make it to be Miranda's eyeball partner because she has a deadline coming up. Yes. Baby, why didn't you work on your timing a little better leading up to that? Yeah. You spend time shopping. Why didn't you spend time writing while you were shopping so you could help your friend who can't see? I'm like that. Anyway.
Well, we have this
Samantha approaches Ricky.
I have a question here because now they're dancing. We have this toot toot beep beep song.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time I've
Carrie's like in the middle of the dance floor.
Here's my question.
Up like this.
Is she a good dancer? Because I can't dance. I don't have any natural rhythm in me. I just kind of I'm silly when I dance.
This would be me on the dance floor.
I think she looks really good, but then I also can see how somebody would watch that and be like, she's like the whitest dancer ever. But I think she also is a dancer.
She is white.
Right, but I feel like she is a good dancer. Wasn't she a dancer?
She was on Broadway, darling.
She was on Broadway, but I think she was also. Well, Girls Just Want to Have Fun. Doesn't she dance in that movie? I feel like she dances.
Anyway, I think you don't have to be a dancer to like be able to go like
this. Yeah, but if I tried to do what she was doing, I wouldn't look that like. She's being funny, like she's doing like a disco arms, but she looks like really good doing it.
She's also like really hot, so
yeah, and younger.
That plays into it. Well, unfortunately, we're all on a bias, even if we don't want to be. Like,
right?
Youth and beauty. Anyway, Samantha approaches Ricky. And her her pickup line situation is like, hi, if those shirts are for sale, I'd like to get one for my nephew. Now, I don't even think she has a nephew, so love that. And this is where we're already introduced the fact that Ricky's like brickhead. He's like, yeah, you could buy them, but I don't know if you can buy them here or not. I got this one at work, but I'm sure you could buy them at other places. I've seen them in these shops. And she's like,
I'm Samantha.
Then she goes, basically. Oh.
He's like, I saw you dancing up there. And he's like, yeah.
She's like, I never did anything like that before. My sister said, do it, Ricky. And I said, I never did anything like that before. And she's like, you did it very well. I wonder what month you'll be. Maybe October. My birthday is in October. I bet July or any month that's hot. I mean,
I think that might have been one of the lines that I was like, she actually really pulled that off.
I mean, again, pretty privilege here. I mean, if I went up to someone and was like,
I know.
Yeah, I bet July or any month that's hot. I mean, like, I think I would get the creeper edit. They would be like,
who are you?
And so then Carrie's sitting at the bar. She's about to light one up. And Jack. Okay, I wrote Jack. I don't know. I was thinking John Slattery, but his name's also Bill. So anyway, Bill comes to set. He's like, "Can I bum a smoke?" And he's like, "Actually, let me buy you a beer." And then they go to this whole flirtation where she's like, "You have terrible taste in men." And he's like, "Hey, I like a firefighter with love handles to hold on to when escaping a burning building." And he says she was tough, and he's like, "What's with the half points? 6.5, 8.5." This, I feel like they were trying to make a moment happen here, and they slightly reference it later, but this line didn't make sense to me. What can I say? Sometimes a girl needs a half. What the fuck does that mean?
I always assumed that meant like a half inch. That's what I always kind of went with.
That's where I first go, but now that I'm reading it, maybe she means like another half, like a better half?
I don't think she means that.
Well, then what the hell does she mean?
I think she means inches.
I don't think so.
Could make a difference. I want to figure out how old John Slattery is here, because again, he like seems like an old man to me in this.
He's probably like 40.
Okay, do the math here. This episode was made in the year 2000 and he was born in 1962. So does that make him 38? Ew. Does it? Is that correct math?
That's how old I am.
Oh God. I don't like that.
I saw this thing the other day where they were like comparing like Jason Alexander or whatever, how he's 29 in the first season of Seinfeld. And they were like just putting him next to like all these different people who were 29 now, or like from nowadays. And they're like, people are like,
so is Jerry.
What? And they were and people were like, I mean, we're looking at Jason Alexander, but Jerry Seinfeld looks 45.
Homer Simpson is 34.
Yeah, that's a cartoon. Those were real
people. Would you think that he was 34? So what year was Mad Men? Because that means that he's younger than me in Mad Men, and I just always saw him as like the guy in his 50s.
Didn't Mad Men come out in like 2007? Oh my God.
He's at least in his 40s then.
Barely.
Barely.
Okay, small sidetrack. Guys, let me know in the comments. Let us know what you think Carrie meant by sometimes a girl needs a half. Then they have this whole conversation about what district do you live in. He's coming off as honestly kind of weird and creepy here to me. He's like, "What's your address? What district are you in?"
And then she gives him her address. That is crazy.
And then he later shows up and is like, "Your number isn't listed."
Right. And that's what I was like, but so that kind of makes more sense then, because I guess we did just kind of give out our addresses really, because we were all literally in a book with our addresses in there.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Plus, if you were at a bar, okay, take back to when you were drinking. If you're at a bar, you've judged a firefighter competition, someone tells you their address, ain't no effing way I'm remembering that.
I wrote that too. This is like in A Star Is Born when Jackson Maine like remembers Lady Gaga's entire song when she only sang him like 8 bars of it. And also he's like drunk off his ass.
Well, it's just about like any situation where people are like singing a song, like someone will be like, "Yeah, you guys like just go with me here," and they'll like go up to a microphone and start singing, and then the band starts like playing some orchestrated version.
A lot of that is like if you kind of know a song, like an old song.
No, I'm talking about a random made up song. Just
made up. Okay, yeah.
Someone being like, like a piano player like playing along like some.
Yeah, but I feel like you can still kind of hear where the music's going. I mean, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. But like the Star Is Born thing has bugged me since, like, that's all. I couldn't get that out of my head. Like, you didn't even sing him the verse part. Didn't she just sing "Out of the shadow, what does I love it"? That's like all she sings for him. And then he comes to her. The verses are now written, but I don't remember them going over together.
That's in the deleted scenes. The director's cut. Have you seen any of the clips of the deleted scenes from Wicked?
No. Are they good?
They're like not edited, so you can see like the black
Oh, I thought Ariana's
blue
tattoo.
screens and stuff like that. Oh yeah, and you can see what's her face's tattoos.
God,
and
we
stuff.
haven't talked about Wicked in over a week. That is nuts. That is crazy pants.
Sorry.
What?
Okay.
We're back.
We basically find.
No, I'm gonna address it. Because right before we left, we were both just like, guys, join our Patreon so Joan doesn't have to deal with his like Airbnb stuff anymore.
We put our family cabin up on Airbnb. We're not just like some crazy investors or whatever. It's been our family cabin for like 20 years. We rent it out periodically on Airbnb, and the people just saying,
trying to push the
anyone who wants to rent on New Year's Eve, just don't even do it. Just don't even rent your place out on. That's actually what I did this year. Was I begged to. Now my mom and I do it together because we are partners in business. Guys, if you are looking to buy or sell a home in the Phoenix metro area, hit me up, babes. But what was I even saying? Okay, I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
I begged my mom to like. I was like, can we at least block off like Thanksgiving and Christmas? And so she let me block those off at least. Thank God.
That's nice. Okay.
Wow.
Where were we? That sounds so much just happened in that break.
All right, so we've okay. Well, basically, where we left it was that Jack Slattery is trying to look.
We were bitching about A Star Is Born.
Yes, because he was like wanting to know where she lived. He showed up to her house, and it's just gross and weird. We find out that Carrie's like, I'm not into dating right now. She had a bad breakup.
No, right? That's not what happens. She goes, I'm just here with the girls. I'm not trying to do the whole dating thing. He goes, oh, why? Bad breakup? And then she just like turns around and like starts smoking. I'm like, he didn't like ask you anything bad. And
yeah, but she's flirting, right. Amanda.
I don't see how that was flirting. She seemed pissed and bitchy.
I think she's flirting.
Well, I mean, I guess it worked.
Like, I want to be her for a day. Let me be Carrie Bradshaw for a day. God, I could pull any damn man there is. Anyway, what can I say? Oh, God. It was a long silence. Actually, it was a silence and a half.
That's good writing, though.
No, it's not, because I brought up that it's nonsensical to say this stupid line.
Always made sense.
I don't think he's thinking. And you think that when she's flirting with him, that his thought is like, oh yeah, she's talking about half an inch of cock. Yeah.
I think that's why they're being cheeky. What else would half an inch?
I didn't feel like the reaction from him was not cheeky, like, or even the way she delivered it. It was more like, I'm just like quirky. Like sometimes a girl needs a sometimes that's why I need a second door.
That's a great. It's coming up.
I love that episode. That's next season.
Well, in this season they get together and then the affair happens. So then they get back together next season.
And they go to the yes. All right. So have dinner with me. Would it help if I took my shirt off? And then they decide to leave.
Charlotte gets wasted and she's dancing to this doctor. I don't know.
They have this weird. Okay, so she's like, he's just way too. I'm that guy. Like, and so that's how they're describing Bill. All right. I saw him give someone a thumbs up. We're out of here, Samantha home with that firefighter. And then you hear, and they're like, Charlotte's around somewhere. And they're like, how many cocktails did she have? And then there is literally, I think it may be 2 minutes long.
But it's funny,
though. Like, yeah, but it was really long. It was much longer than I was expecting. I'm not saying it wasn't funny.
This is a rewatch. Like this podcast has given me an appreciation for Kristen Davis because I always thought that she was the weakest, and maybe she still is, but she is way funnier than I ever gave her credit for.
I think I would agree. I think my perception was always like, oh, her character itself is probably the farthest in comparative to me. And that's probably where I'm, because I felt the same way. And it's like, oh, this is a type of person that would probably like never want to be my friend or like
for sure,
be around me. But I could see myself actually being friends with the other ones. But Charlotte is friends with Anthony. So
I feel like Jody's kind of a Charlotte. And I find that very charming.
Yeah.
Like, I find that kind of fascinating. And I do find it also fascinating, like, what she even sees in me as a person she wants to be around.
Well, she likes to laugh at you.
Probably. I think she just likes to be like, wow, this girl's a mess.
You're her jester. Are you sure? He's pretty cute. I don't have to tell you. Okay, so they end up doing that. So the three girls are headed home. And they're talking about fond memories of Staten Island and its famous iced teas. And Charlotte's like spinning around. She's like, I'm getting, yes, there's a build up to this, but it ends up being, I'm getting married this year. She's really drunk. She's not the best drunk actress, but fine. And then Miranda's like, if she falls over, I will never stop laughing, because she's like hanging off the edge, which I like.
And Carrie's just like holding on to her without even looking. But I do like that this is setting up, and I do love this storyline for Charlotte, is that they do give her exactly what she wants this season. And
they do.
Yeah. And then it sucks. I forgot that whole storyline. The second that TREY came on to the screen, because I just didn't have it in my head that he would be showing up this early, I was like, I forgot. Like, I get to go on this journey again.
I'm excited for Bunny.
She's great. I hate her. She's actually, the mother-in-law thing is very
guys, this is us spoiling everything and talking about as though you've already listened to or watched this. Thanks for following along.
That can mean anything.
You know what? Listen to our Patreon, because I'm going to tell you about the first negative comment I got on my TikTok.
Oh no! What was it?
I'll talk about it on my Patreon.
What was it about your voice? What were they you?
No, it was about my attitude.
Really? You seem like you're like the most jovial on that. You're like the nicest version of Joan on that.
All I could think is, bitch, if this is
for me to even realize it's your video. I'm like, oh, John and his like persona that he's doing.
I'm like, if you think this is bitchy,
right, I'm gonna find that comment. I'm gonna go write that.
Oh, I deleted it.
Okay, fine.
Because I'm that petty. Because my answers are either delete or respond, and I really didn't want to become something over.
I always delete shit like that off my phone, and so I don't, because otherwise I will stew over it and reread it over and over. So I just like get rid of it.
I would have highlighted it, put it at the top, written something, and been like, you know me. So I just was like, delete, block you. My thing is like, if you don't like my attitude on here, you don't need to watch my videos, sweetie. Okay. Just like I've said on here, if you think we're annoying, just turn it off.
That is so funny. That is so funny because you're so nice on there.
That's what I'm saying.
That is like really just.
So I'm gonna I'll explain a little bit more over on
no better indication though that you just cannot please everyone. You're always
exactly. Oh my god! Like, what do you want me to be like? Oh my god! This is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I've never been more fortunate to receive this. Oh my god! Thank you, everyone. Like, are you? Anyway. Charlotte's spinning out, freaking out. Meanwhile, Samantha's getting plowed the F down by Ricky. And I mean, this is the reason you want to get with a dumb firefighter. And baby, firefighters are hot. They have a big conversation about, even if they're not, they still are hot. All right. Samantha. Oh, and uptown on dry land, Samantha and Mr. July had their own fire going. Samantha's like, you're so big and strong. And then they have a conversation the next morning, which is really fucking funny. They're at breakfast at the normal spot, and Samantha is like in a white like shirt, like a hair messed up, and she was at her own house. That's what's funny, is she was having sex at her own home, and this is the best she could pull together for breakfast.
Also, I want to say really quickly, Charlotte's like hungover, and I just find this unbelievable because I'm like, there's no way she would go. Will you just cancel if you were that hungover?
Well, if Real Housewives has taught me anything, the women of New York, they drink and then they get hungover and they do it again. But those women are getting paid. So I don't know.
Well,
It is
then
a TV
Charlotte's
show.
not re-drinking here. But anyway, as Samantha's talking about the cock, and Charlotte, here's another great line. Charlotte goes, "Can you talk a little more quiet? The people at the next table have a child." And Samantha looks and then she goes, "Well, that's their problem."
Exactly. Well, because she's talking all about, she's like, let me tell you about his cock. And that's what it was for. Well, that's their choice. I think it's wrong to sleep with a man to fulfill a certain fantasy or a nightmare. So that's what Charlotte kind of brings up, is that she just thinks it's just so atrocious to like fetishize someone to fuck them. And I guess if you do think about it like that, but like, who doesn't fantasize about having sex with a firefighter or something? No?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And
then they kind of turn it around on Charlotte and they're like, you fantasize of a man with a Park Avenue apartment and a nice big stock portfolio. For me, it's a fireman with a big hose. And then they talk about why are firemen so fucking cute? Even when they're not that cute, they're still cute. And then they have this weird thing where they're like, well, the first thing is they have a weight limit. No fatties there.
Yeah, no fatties allowed.
They don't say that part, but I mean, it's implied. It's because women really... Oh, and then Charlotte, I guess... Charlotte has a thing up her ass where this is kind of improbable too, because she is the type that wants to be rescued and lives in a fantasy. So I'm kind of confused why on this day she's not feeling that.
She's all over.
Feels like Miranda would be the one to say some of this stuff. She says it's because women really just want to be rescued. And Carrie's VO, there it was. The sentence independent single women in their 30s are never supposed to think, let alone say out loud. Okay. Is that like you go to bed, like you pull into bed and you're like, get that thought out of my head. I don't just want to be rescued.
I've had 2 different guys try to rescue me and we subsequently broke up. I was like, Chris was like, Chris wanted me to move to San Diego with him. And he's like, I'll just like pay for everything. And I was like, I guess we're breaking up then. And then Raju wanted me to quit my job. And like, he's like, I'll just pay for everything. And all I had to do was have his baby and get rid of my cats. Yeah.
Get rid of the cats? That's a non-negotiable.
Well, he had never really implied that, but he like didn't tell the building owner about them, and they were just gonna have to live in a room by themselves or whatever. Anyway, I don't want to be rescued, I guess.
Anyway, it's true. I've been dating since I was 15. I'm exhausted. Where is he? This is Charlotte. Now, who? The White Knight? That only happens in fairy tales. Charlotte's hair hurts. Blah, blah, blah. And then do you ever think that maybe we're the White Knights and we're the ones that have to save ourselves? Which that is kind of depressing sounding, but at the same time,
I don't think that's so depressing.
I want to be...
It's really empowering, actually.
It is, but at the same time, like, if someone like rode up to my house, on a horse, preferably not a horse, because I don't want to get on a horse, but if they had like a really nice car and were like, you know what, I've wanted you forever, or some shit like that, baby, I'll drive into the sunset today if someone would like to.
You get really over that real quick. The novelty.
I don't think so.
Really?
I think that like if I had unbridled wealth, I think I would be very happy. I don't think I would ever be bored. I don't think I'd ever be sad. I don't know who these people are who say that money doesn't buy happiness. I would be so happy
all the time, of course. But like, can I just do that by myself?
No, I wouldn't be lazy. If I had tons of money, I'd be traveling. I'd be doing all that stuff. Oh God. Well,
but you want another person. You want like a guy with you the whole time doing that.
No, not necessarily. But if they were hot and had the money and were providing it all, I would be like, okay.
I would totally do like a Bronwyn on SLC. I would totally do, and just be totally transparent about it.
Where like, okay,
so I'm marrying you
most
because
of the time too.
What?
Where he's gone most of the time.
Yeah, no, that's like great. And then it's pretty like overt. Like, yeah, I'm with you because you're paying for everything, and it's obviously like a business arrangement. That sounds great.
Later that day, Carrie got to thinking about fairy tales. What if Prince Charming had never showed up? Would Snow White have slept in that glass coffin forever? Or would she have eventually woken up, spit out the apple, and gotten a job, a healthcare package, and a baby from her local neighborhood sperm bank?
Lala.
I couldn't help but wonder. Inside every confident-driven single woman, is there a delicate, fragile princess just waiting to be saved? Was Charlotte right? Do women just want to be rescued? I mean, like, I don't think women do want to be rescued, but like, who doesn't? If you've gone through any kind of adversity at all, who doesn't love the idea of like someone just take you away? Cowboy, take me away. Hey, did you watch the Beyonce Bowl?
No, I don't even know what that is. I don't think I've even watched Beyonce, like Beyonce music video star. I've seen Dreamgirls and Austin Powers too.
You should watch Baychella. Or Baychella.
I don't want to watch that. I'd be so bored.
It's like 10 minutes long. You can't watch a performance for 10 minutes. You can watch stupid ass Doughboys for 25 hours, but you can't watch a 10-minute Beyonce performance.
I'm watching like 10-minute recaps of Ash Trevino every day because I'm just like, I guess this is my algorithm.
I don't want anything to do with that.
I know everything there's to know about her, so we'll talk about it on Wednesday.
Disgusting. Anyway.
I agree.
Was Charlotte right? Do women just want to be rescued? Now, we get to Miranda's getting LASIK and someone needs to help her get home. And she is absolutely insulted that she is an independent woman. And all I'm thinking is, girl, you're going to be drugged and blind. And this is the time to stand up to be like a powerful, independent person.
And wait for 5 hours while I was getting my wrist surgery.
And that was for a wrist. This is like literally you have no eyesight. Girl, what? All right. I can't believe I'm going to wake up and see clearly without glasses or contact. This was a weird and funny moment that I don't know how they chose to write this.
That's why I thought everything with Cynthia Nixon was really funny. Like or maybe it was just the way she reacted to this, but it was funny.
Yeah, because she's talking to the doctor. She's like, I can't believe I'm going to wake up and see clearly without glasses or contacts for the first time. Believe it. That's just the end of the scene.
Believe it. I think it's just there. I guess the comment there is just that she's trying to be like all bubbly and like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And he's like, and he just has no personality.
Yeah, but that person would scare me to do my eye.
I know.
I want LASIK, but I'm scared.
Oh no, I'd rather have someone like that. I'd rather just have somebody super focused on like my surgery than somebody who's like yucking it up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Speaking
that's
it.
She's telling Steve about it on the street, and then doesn't he say, like, what are we?
This made me so happy when Steve came on.
Yeah, because I forgot he was coming back again so soon. But yeah, they fucked in the last episode when he's like, do friends kiss here?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He offers to help her out with the LASIK, and she's like, I'm actually going to ask Carrie. And he's like, what? And she's like, Carrie's my friend. And he's like, what am I? And she's like, well, we haven't exactly established that yet. And she's like, are you coming up? And he's like, we haven't exactly established that yet. What are we doing here? I mean, are we? And she talks about flipping the lid of her eye up, blah, blah, blah. And
well, okay, that's what we're because they kind of resolve that in this episode where it's like, oh, she finally saw Steve clearly. But then, spoiler alert, I guess. In the next episode, she brings Steve to like the party for like where you bring someone that you're no longer interested in because she's still not decided on him yet.
I'm just shocked that Steve has fucking like. I want a man like Steve who will like go to freaking the deaths to you. I mean, except for he cheated on her in the Sex and the City movie.
Yeah, but I feel like she's probably a lot to live with.
Not
the cheating.
So if you're allowed to live with, you deserve to be cheated on. Got it. Guys, write that down.
But I feel like also, especially where they are, where it's totally unestablished, I wouldn't ask Steve to pick me up from surgery. Like I would specifically not want him to. I
would ask a friend, but I would ask like 10 I wouldn't ask Carrie. No way in hell would I ask the unreliable Carrie. She She can't even pick up her momentarily blind friend. Like, bring your laptop with you, girl. If you can't, how long? Like, what? You can't write your column there?
If I was Miranda, I'd get back from my surgery and be like, all right, I'm going to just read to me everything you wrote then right now. Read me all that gold that you just wrote that you needed to be home for.
I would like, tell me what your schedule was the 3 days leading up to this and why you couldn't finish it then.
Because in fact, we went to Staten Island and then brunch the next morning.
This was like kind of important. I can't
I had eye surgery.
Like, I can't see right now.
There was lasers in my eyeballs.
Like, priorities. But she could have asked, I probably would ask Charlotte.
Yeah, she'll take care of you.
But the show tries to establish that Carrie is like everyone's, like each of these 3 women's best friends, but Carrie's, they're not her best friend.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Who is Carrie's best friend? I guess Miranda.
Probably, except
Carrie's best friend is whatever man she's dating at the time, because they will always.
Carrie's best friend is Carrie. Carrie's best friend is shoes. Yes. Oh my God. All right. And over on the east side, at a more Charlotte-friendly bar, the iced tea princess began her quest for a white knight. And she sees basically this cute, I guess, guy.
Ew, this guy is just Eric Trump.
That's what I was saying.
Literally looks
that's
like
why I said
him.
Cute, I guess. He does look like Eric Trump. He looks like someone else. I originally wrote
Brock Turner, and then I was like, actually, he looks exactly like Eric Trump. But I was just like, he's the kind of guy where it's like, I could tell you by looking at this guy's headshot that he would punch someone out in public for doing.
He's perfectly cast, because spoiler alert, guys, the big thing with this guy is that he basically wants to beat people up. Is what it like, that's what it boils down to. He just wants to fight people, I guess. Like, if anyone does anything, he's like ready to beat their ass.
This was really triggering for me. I've never been with anyone that's been like physically abusive like this.
I would never.
I would never, but like if I was out on a date and someone did that, I would be like, I feel like I need to call the authority. Like
I'd be scared.
Warn someone about him. He should be on a list somewhere.
Well, I'd be concerned too, because how do you balance that of being like, you just beat someone up because they pissed you off, and now I'm gonna be like, I gotta go. I gotta run. Then he's gonna beat you up? No. All right.
Right, exactly.
Trigger warning, guys. Jesus. Also a trigger warning. Anyway, just kidding. All right, the iced tea princess. First of all, this one guy does come up to them. This guy who they're trying to make out to be gross.
He's like, hey, beautiful. Sex with, right?
What?
Samantha has sex with this guy in like a later episode, right? Maybe when she's with.
Think so. Maybe.
No, she does, because I know she's trying to make someone jealous, I think.
Well, what they do is
go to the bathroom and they fuck, and he like can't get it up.
He has a pretty big, I mean, like they introduce him here. He gives his name. Right. Hey, beautiful, I'm JJ. Can I buy those sweet lips a drink? And then Charlotte's like, well, we're leaving. And then they just move across the bar. Because Charlotte was a firm believer in the laws of dating, feng shui. Change location, change luck. And Charlotte's just like, so like, oh my God, why would such an ugly, disgusting piece of shit even talk to me like that? Why would he even think that he was worthy enough to talk to a beautiful woman like me? God, he's so fucking ugly and disgusting.
JJ gives me a Lin-Manuel energy, right?
No.
Yeah.
No. No way. I feel like if I met Lin-Manuel Miranda in person, I would probably be like charmed by him, honestly.
Oh no, for sure. No,
I would not be charmed by JJ.
There's like an energy about and that's on my TikTok now too, by the way, that Lin-Manuel that song from The Lion King.
How you been my brother if you want to be my brother, whatever.
It's a good song though. I'm like another.
Sure, but I hate those live action. I hate those live action Lion King movies.
Yeah, me too. I'm not gonna see it.
Okay.
All right.
So then that one guy comes up, the guy, and I'm just gonna establish and finish his whole story here for you guys. He beats up a guy here, and then he beats up a guy later, and then he goes crazy. There you go.
Yeah, that's Charlotte's whole storyline. So that's right.
His name was Arthur. Yippee. Yeah. Bill Kelly is waiting on Carrie's stoop, creepily. He brought her a voter registration form and filled out her name. Under occupation, I put heartbreaker. I really did. Look. I mean, like, How do you feel about those? Would you feel charmed?
I would be so into him because he's funny.
You'd be charmed by him showing up at your house like that, though?
But this was like the 9/11 hasn't even happened yet, Joe.
Oh my God. So really, your whole personality hadn't even been established until after this.
Not really.
Oh my God, guys. Jesus. All right. How long have you been here? Your number's not listed. What did you buy? Shoes. This is where I guess they're kind of maybe establishing that he's kind of freaky, because we find out next episode what he really wants. Because he wants to see her in these shoes. He's like, wear those shoes when I get you, when I pick you up. And he's like, I don't really want to go. And she's like, I don't really want to go. You know, I'm not going to go on a date. And he's like, well, if you want to go with me, I'll be waiting. I'll wait outside, and if you come, you come, and if you don't, you know, no pressure. But wear the shoes, so he can piss in them.
I thought everything he said was really cute, and then he does say, "Come show me your shoes," which is so exciting too, because it's like a guy like wants to come show me all the stuff you bought. That's so exciting.
Okay, I'm getting different vibes from this. I feel like the shoes thing is a perverted way, and I'm thinking, if I'm telling you no,
yeah, but it wasn't
what I don't want to hear is, I'll be waiting under your window at 7 o'clock, and if you want to come. If you don't, it's fine. No pressure, except that I will be waiting outside of your window at 7 p.m. That Saturday when I was, here we go, guys, asshole Carrie of the day. That Saturday when I was unable to take Miranda to laser surgery due to a looming column deadline, she didn't call Steve. She decided to take things into her own hands. Who needs a man to hold your hand when you have cab fare and a black marker to write down your emergency numbers?
I mean, that is kind of true. I guess that probably would be my next move. Like, if I can just get a cab, I don't really need someone to walk me home.
No, this is stupid. There's no way that Miranda only has 2 people she could call. She could have called Samantha, and she could have called Charlotte. Are we kidding?
Well, Samantha's busy getting fucked down at the fire
station.
Yeah, she would have left.
Come on. Because, guys, the way Samantha's storyline resolves is kind of stupid. It's stupid.
I remember this being like me being shocked by how gratuitous the sex scene was in this.
It
really isn't even that gratuitous.
On the fire truck?
Yeah, for some reason remember feeling very like, oh.
So it's time for Miranda to I'm skipping Charlotte's story. We already wrapped it up. It's time for Miranda to get her stuff done. Of course, Carrie doesn't show up and doesn't tell. By the way they've written this, Miranda doesn't know that Carrie's not showing up.
Oh, yeah.
Because they say, Miss Hobbs, your friend is here. And she's like, Carrie? And it's like, actually, no, it's me, Steve. Carrie thought you might need some help, okay? And then, you know.
This is just like with sending Aiden without telling Miranda when she fell.
See, I would take a step, personally, I would take a step back from this, friend. If Carrie was my friend, I would take a step back from you, because I'd feel like you don't care about me in the way that I would care about you. So this is not going to work for me.
We're not the same priority level in each other's lives, for sure.
If you called me, I'd be there. You keep sending like the people I don't want to come. Like, are you kidding? All right, so then they do this whole thing, like it's cute, and I guess like Steve helps her into bed, and then they fall asleep together, and she wakes up, and for the first time, the next morning, after what felt like 100 years, Miranda awoke, and for the first time in her life, she saw things clearly, and the thing she's seeing clearly is Steve's morning wood.
He looks really cute here too, and he doesn't have morning wood. I mean, he probably
does. I mean, he probably does. Anyway, Steve does look cute here. He looks cute most of the time.
True.
Sorry, y'all. That night, Mr. July invited Samantha to come down and hang with him at the firehouse. They have this weird moment.
What is going on here, though? Because what was his purpose? Like, clearly he didn't think this was for sex, so he thought. I just don't understand where the wires were crossed.
No, because they end up having sex.
But when she shows up, he's like, oh hey, everyone, this is Samantha. So like, what was his idea of how this night was gonna go?
Well, personally, if I were a firefighter, I don't think that I would believe, like, if a girl that I was kind of dating was coming by the firehouse, I wasn't thinking I was gonna fuck her on the side of the fire truck. Like that
why
part
would you invite
also
her then?
because they're dating. Also, he's established that he's an idiot.
Yeah, I guess that you kind of just had to chalk it up to that, is that he's so
I wouldn't like I thought it was more idiotic that like it was assumed that they could just be fucking, and with her going like, and the entire firehouse is just like chilling upstairs, like they don't give a fuck.
And they're like just so, and also they're all very unfazed by her walking in. Like but it's like, this is still a stunning woman.
So he kind of leaves her to go sit in this like room. Then I'm gonna finish her storyline here anyway, because then later how it wraps up is they go and he fucks her on the side of the fire truck after she goes down the pole. All right, and then the fire alarm goes off after she's put a guy's pants on. This is like very iconic too. Is like her standing with the fire pants.
Her boobs look so good here.
They're like so perfectly like positioned and everything. Yeah,
because she's got small boobs, so they just kind of like sit there, and they have like a perfect like circle shape because she has the suspenders covering the nymph, but she looks so good.
Though the firemen are then unfazed when the fire alarm goes off. They see this one, and the guy's like, "What the fuck are you doing? I need get out of my pants!" And she's like, "What am I supposed to do?" He's like, "Get out of my fucking pants, lady!" That's it. There's no like, why is there a naked woman?
My social anxiety, the second this scene started, like her walking in, I was like, my social anxiety could never.
The way that she also, like, the fire alarm goes off, and Samantha, who is an intelligent woman, her reaction is just, oh.
Yeah, right.
Like, if you're just listening, she just holds her head and does the like, oh my god, this is so loud movement. Like, that's it. Anyway, whatever. I love this show. Again,
let's wrap up Carrie's storyline. Yes. We're actually done.
Carrie's storyline is that that guy, Bill, shows up and he's waiting. He calls her on the phone. He's like, I'll wait 10 more seconds, then I'll go alone. Then I'll go alone.
Because he does a countdown and he brings back the little jokey joke again. Goes 2.
This was the only reason they used that joke.
Okay, but don't you at least appreciate comparison?
No, I don't.
Like that,
I don't, because I don't think this joke makes. I don't think the joke. Fine, you can bring a joke back, but if it's not a joke to begin with and doesn't make sense, then it's stupid.
It was a joke, though.
I hated it. It doesn't make any sense.
I guess I need Michael Patrick King. You've been carrying with you for the past 20 years this like misunderstanding of this line. I just never knew that about you.
I do not believe wholeheartedly that if you go back, I don't believe that the way she delivered it or the way he reacted gave me the implication that she was talking about dick size. I don't. Anyway,
as as you want it to be, but fine, good enough. He comes back next week though, and we'll get a little bit more of John.
I don't think it's I actually don't think it was deep. I think it was just Carrie trying to be like, I'm cute. Like sometimes a girl needs a half. Like it doesn't have to make sense. But if a hot girl's saying it, that it doesn't matter if it makes sense.
This is going to be just like the Robin Brown floral blouses thing, and everyone's going to be like, yeah, it's that.
I don't think so, because I want you guys to listen to the line delivery. Please, if you're going to comment, please listen to the line delivery.
Like, the way he brings it up, because he brings it up 2 or 3 more times after that, and every time he says it, it implies that.
I don't think so, because the half-inch more of dick, I don't think so, because that doesn't seem cute. If you made a little joke and then some guy was like, "Oh, you're the half-inch girl," like, ew. That's not how I want to be known.
It's been an ongoing joke that is leading up to that. It's like a little thing you have. It's a banter.
That's not cute.
Well,
that'd be like, "Oh, you're the 8-inch girl." Yeah, I mean, like,
I've been called worse. Daily.
God. Anyway, So yeah, that's kind of that's they're gonna talk.
There's a weird that she does go. She calls Miranda and she's like, Miranda, tell me why I didn't go. And it's like, why didn't you come to my LASIK surgery? Did you get your fucking assignment in on time? But she calls me and she's like, just say it, Miranda. Just say it. And Miranda's like, it's big. You're scared to get hurt again. And Carrie's like, I have to go. And she hangs up on her. What was that phone call?
I don't think she hung up that way, actually. She was more like, you're right. It was more like you're right, I've got to go.
Yeah, but still, bitch, you stood me up today and sent the person that I specifically said I don't want to come.
If you had stood me up like that and you called me at any time within the next 24
and
hours
I had
to maybe
your ex-boyfriend
actually 24 hours to maybe a month, any time between 24 hours and 1 month, if you called me, I wouldn't answer.
Well, I would expect
I'm like, well, you couldn't pick me up at the thing. I'm not going to answer the damn phone for your ass. Learn how it is, bitch.
So anyway, so she goes, and did you notice this weird ADR that they have? Because she goes to this event, and then she's like, it was a bad breakup, so I need to go slow. But then they're like making out in the coat rack, and there's like this weird ADR that they put in where they're kissing, and he's like, come on, let's go back to my place. And then like they're kissing, and she's clearly not saying this, but her line is like, no, I can't go with you. Kissing's enough for now, just kissing, or something like that. I don't know why they kept that in. It's like, we get it. We get that you want to just go. You're
so that can be in the second episode. If she gives out the new in the second episode.
That was goo. That was way worse. Oh God, I hate it.
Anyway, guys.
Okay. Great episode. We're on a great season. I'm so happy to be out of it just like that. If not for anything else, then for the runtime. Because this was such a breeze to sit and watch and take notes on compared to And Just Like That.
Just so you guys know, sometimes a woman absolutely has to be rescued. And sometimes a woman absolutely has to rescue a man. At least that's how it ends in this Staten Island fairy tale.
Oh yeah, because she leaves, and then she misses the last ferry, which... Do they just have Here's my question. I could have looked this up. There's a way to get home other than the ferry, right? Yeah, because then he comes and picks her up and they drive. So there's like a bridge.
I think it's more of an idea that like it's cheaper to take the ferry, but I'm kind of surprised. I would think the ladies would just take a cab. I mean, like that's gotta be cheaper, right?
Of course. How long do you think that ferry ride is? 20 minutes?
Way too long. And you're in like you're in
heels. It's like 2 a.m.
Awful. I could never.
I just want the energy. Like, I mean, gotta hand it to those people that do that every day. Great episode. I can't wait to continue this journey with you through season 3.
Hey, there's something that I want you to remember. They say nothing lasts forever. Dreams change, trends come and go, but friendships never go out of style. Haven't done that for weeks.
I know, but we're back. All right, guys.
We're back, baby.
We love ya. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.
Check out our Patreon.
And join us in our weekly roundup, which is now at noon on Wednesdays. Noon Mountain Standard Time. We'll see you there, babies. Can't wait. Love you all. Happy New Year. Happy Chew Year. Bye-bye.